to episode number 32, a delayed episode 32 of TamsCraftyKnits. You can find me under that username on Instagram, Facebook and Ravelry. If you want to kind of keep more up to date with what I'm doing, probably I'd suggest follow me on Instagram. That's where I post the most up to date stuff. But you can add me as a friend on Facebook. It's TamsCraftyKnits, even though Facebook doesn't like it because they're starting to kind of cotton on that my name is not TamsCraftyKnits. So yes, it's been well over a month since I last recorded an episode. Well, not since I recorded an episode, more like since I uploaded an episode. I've had some health stuff going on and I've tried to record the podcast a few times and it hasn't really worked. So I'm recording it today. I'm going to try and edit and upload today as well. So I have a finished object. I have a couple of works in progress and some kind of things that I'm going to start fairly soon. I also thought I would include a kind of what I'm reading section. A lot of people that knit also read, so I thought it might be a fun little addition to the podcast, and you know, we can chat about, I might even put a thread in the group and we can kind of chat about the books that we're reading, if we like them or not. But we're not going to post spoilers or anything because, you know, they're only fair if people haven't read it or anything like that. So and I'll talk about kind of health stuff at the end, so if you guys are not really interested in that, you can click out when we get to that section. So first up is I made myself a minky blanket. It is freezing here in Australia at the moment. We're in winter and don't we know it. I do already have a purple minky blanket. I have the minky dot fabric that you can get, and I made one of those blankets where you cut all the way around the edge of two pieces of fabric and then you tie them together, which I love it, but I only really keep it on my bed. I don't really sit with it in the lounge room because it's not, I don't feel like it's big enough of a blanket. So I went to Spotlight and I got a really good deal on fabric. I picked up this minky black and white chevron. I got 3 meters of this fabric and it was $24. To buy 1 meter of this fabric normally is $24. So this whole blanket was a good price, good deal. Took me very little time to make. I'm not the best sewer in the world, but I just put the two wrong sides of fabric together, sewed around, left a decent gap, only a few inches. As you can see on this edge, I went a little bit close. It's still sewed up. It's just for me. It doesn't have to be perfect, you know. So I had the wrong sides together, sewed around, left the gap, turned it right way around, sewed up the gap. Obviously, I poked the corners out, sewed up the gap, and then just kind of top stitched around the top of it. So I love it. I was sitting with it for most of yesterday because it was really, really cold. Yeah, I love minky. Minky it's a really nice soft fabric, it's really warm, and this blanket is huge. So it's basically like a meter and a half wide blanket. So it's very warm, it's very big. So yeah, that's my first, I guess, finished crafty object. They did have another minky fabric there that was on clearance as well. If you make bags or you just do sewing in general, I would highly suggest, and you want to build up your fabric stash and not spend a ton of money, although when stuff's on clearance you tend to spend a bit more money, they're having a lot of their fabrics on clearance. That fabric was $8 a meter, but I've seen some of them in the clearance section for like $4 a meter, so might be worth checking out if you're a bag maker or you do a lot of sewing. Maybe you make your own children's clothing or your own clothing. Might be good to check out. I'm still working, and Kelly knows this. Kelly, can I just say you're a saint? Because I should have had this finished at least 2 weeks ago, if not more, but I'm still going on it. It's been my main focus, other than one other project that I wanted to get done because it's freezing, so I needed some gloves. But I'm still going on my test knit. This is the Down the Country Lane shawl. The pattern has been released now on Ravelry. I will put a link to it in the description box. Kelly, I do apologise. I am not as far along as I would have liked to have been. As I said, I've had some health stuff going on, and I'm just not as far along as I would have liked. But this is my main focus when I'm knitting, so I hope to get it cranked out by next week. So as you can see, the teal is my own hand-dyed yarn, and the top purple colour is King Cole Zigzag. It's their sock yarn. So, sorry, this is the needle keeper that's making all that noise. So yes, I'm sorry Kelly, I'm still working on it, but she's amazing. She really is. If you are not subscribed to her channel, go and check out I'm Yarn Inspired here on YouTube. Again, I'll put a link to her channel down below. Go and subscribe to her. She also has a group on Ravelry, so go and check that as well. Okay, so another work in progress. I dug this out the other day. I just wanted to take a little bit of a break for a little bit from knitting, so I dug this out again, and this is my scrappy blanket. I've kind of rolled it up. The current colour that I'm using is this teal colour, and it's shoved in the middle with my crochet hook. I'm using a 4mm crochet hook. Basically, in this huge bag, it's going to make noise, so I apologise. Oops. Put those up there. One of these like old school eco bags is full of yarn. These are, they're all acrylic. Some of them are multicoloured yarns. As I said, some of them are more solid like this. This is the current colour that I'm using. And what I did is I just took 100-gram balls that I had of acrylic that I didn't feel like I was going to use for projects. I intended to make some kids stuff with it, but I just never got around to it. And Claire, who is Bob Wilson 123, if you're a crocheter, you're probably very familiar with her. She's also here on YouTube, and she has a Ravelry group. She was doing a project called the Scraptastic Granny Blanket. So I started this quite a while ago, and you know, every so often I just pick it up, and it's just meant to be a hodgepodge of, I mean, some people are really specific about what colours they use where, and they don't put certain colours with certain colours. But what I've been doing is when I get very close to the end of whatever, you know, half, I've basically split those into 50-gram balls. So when I get close to finishing one lot of 50 grams, I just reach in, grab another one. So that's kind of why it kind of looks like it's a bit of everything. So I really like it. When I first started it, I can't remember how many chains I did, but this will fit on my bed when I'm finished it. My bed is a double bed. I don't know what you call that in other parts of the world. We have a single, a double, a queen, and a king size bed. Those are our sizes in Australia. I don't know what they equate to in other parts of the world, but this is as wide as my bed. So yes, it's quite big. I think I will definitely have enough to make it long enough to go on my bed. I may pull out some other yarn to do a border. I don't know that I will have enough to do a border with some of the stuff out of the bag. But I like it. I love the randomness of it, and it kind of gives you a bit of a break if, you know, you're working on certain projects and you want to do something different for a little bit. That's kind of what I've been doing with this. This is kind of my in-between project, and I'm not really in a rush to finish it. I'll finish it when I finish it. So it's more of a long-term project. Okay, now I have a half object, but I can't find it. I did, and if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen it. I've really been getting into the double pointed needles. I do have 2 sets of double pointed needles coming in a couple of different sizes, but I've really been enjoying using the wooden double pointed needles. And I decided to get out this acrylic. It's an 8-ply acrylic, very bright, and I did a fingerless glove with this, but I can't find it. I don't know where I put it. And I got that out because I'd made these. This I used the Knit Picks Brava Worsted in the mulberry colorway. I have 57 grams, I think it's 57 grams of this left, so I can definitely make another pair of these if I wanted to. I just made up the pattern myself. I'd been looking at fingerless glove patterns, and none of them kind of, I mean, I have quite a few in my library, but none of them really appealed to me. I just wanted something basic, something quick that I could kind of whip up and would be kind of warm, if I can spit out my words, for winter here in Australia. So, oops. So just basic. I think the thumbs need a bit of work, but they work pretty well. And I did a new technique. I've never done make ones before, so I looked up a tutorial on YouTube on how to do the thumb gussets. So yeah, and of course purple, because purple is my favorite color. So I have those, and yeah, I went to do one in the other color, and like I said, I don't know what I've done with it. I took it out of the bag. I don't know what I've done with it. I should have just left it in the project bag, but... So if you want to see what it looks like, go to my Instagram and you'll be able to see. But it kind of looks really cool. It's like got colour pooling and stuff in it. I'd also started the Lorelei Gilmore inspired hat from Gilmore Girls A Year in Life. Again, double pointed needles. These ones are US 8 5mm. The ones that I use for these are a 4mm, which I believe is a US 6, I think. And I'm using the Lime brand Heartland yarn, and this is in the colour Mount Rainier. But I messed it up and I didn't pull where you're joining the round. That was fine. But when I was doing the ribbing, I wasn't pulling the stitches tight enough when I started the next round, so there was kind of like gaps there. I didn't like it, so I pulled it back. So this is what it looks like, and I plan on buying a pom-pom on Etsy. There's one that kind of goes with the one that's in the picture. So then my last kind of work in progress is kind of a special one. As some of you may know, I was a preemie baby, so I was born early. I was born 3 months early, and my mum actually tagged me on Facebook for this project called Walk with Wings. And it's an organisation that supports families who have preemie babies, and then they also support them after them, you know, aftercare, things like that. And they're based out of South Australia, which is fantastic because I was actually born in that state. I don't live in that state now, I live in a different state. And they are looking for people to knit hats, booties, blankets, and I think I saw a post this morning about they have like little dresses as well. But I'm going to do up some hats, and I went through my yarn and they want specific colours, so white, purple and blue, and they want solid colours. Some people are doing variegated, but they said they want solids, so I went through my stash and I've grabbed out some solids that I had. I did go to Kmart and pick up this soft 8-ply acrylic in white, because believe it or not, I actually didn't have any white acrylic. So I got out the Marvel 12-ply. I don't know what this colour is, but it's a really light and a lavender. And then the Marvel soft 8-ply in this deeper purple. And then I have some yarn scraps that I was given by a fellow crafter, and as you can see, they're in blue and purple. So I have these all in a project bag ready to go. I was going to try, because I didn't have DPNs in the right size, so I was going to try and do knit them by magic loop. So I may still try and do that, but I do have some DPNs coming in the right size, so that's kind of going to be another project I'm working on. Excuse me. So that's kind of the knitting stuff. I will share the books that I'm reading at the moment, so if you want to stick around for that, feel free. If not, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. But for those of you who are interested in what I'm reading, I have Audible, and I listen to audiobooks mostly. I'm getting cramps in my feet because I sit on my... Is that gonna help? Maybe. Sorry, cramps in my feet. I have the Audible app and I love it. I pay $14.95 a month and I get a credit each month. I will admit I have kind of been letting them build up a little bit. I do have some audiobooks in iCloud, quite a few actually, but these are the ones that I'm actually listening to at the moment. So as you can see, I have 3 books on the go at the moment. I'm up to the 4th book in the Harry Potter series, which is The Goblet of Fire. They recently put the Lunar Chronicles on Audible. Now I'm just looking over at my bookshelf, I have the first 2, which is Cinder and Scarlet, in hardcover books. But I'd only ever read Cinder, so I decided to get Scarlet with one of my credits, because at the moment I've just been kind of more so listening to audiobooks, but I have started an actual physical book as well, which I'll show you. And one that I've been listening to for a while is The Cutting Season by Attica Lockie, I think is how you pronounce it. I apologise if I'm butchering that. And that's an interesting book as well. So I also pre-ordered a book yesterday. I'll have to look it up because I can't remember. If I can find it. Nope, I'll have to look it up by author. Here it is. So it's called Stillhouse Lake by Rachel Kane, and she has done the Morganville Vampires and quite a few other books. I believe this is kind of more of an adult fiction, I guess. So that is what that one looks like, and I pre-ordered that one, and I can't remember. So it comes out on the 1st of July. So yeah, usually I will let my credits kind of bank up until I have like 3. You can have up to 6 credits on your account, and then you need to kind of use them. So I don't actually purchase books like with actual money out of my account. I just use the credits that I get as being a member of Audible. So the next, like the actual book that I'm reading, is See What I Have Done by Sarah Schmidt, and this book is about Lizzie Borden. So those of you who are not familiar, Lizzie Borden, quite a notorious character, I suppose. She was accused of murdering her stepmother and father with an axe in their home. She was tried for the murders and acquitted. So this book takes you back to the day when they were murdered. If you are actually interested in Lizzie Borden, there is, if you have Netflix, there is the Lizzie Borden Chronicles on there. It's a TV show with Christina Ricci in it. I've watched it and it's pretty good. It's kind of after the trial and that. Obviously it is dramatized. It's not based on facts or anything, but it's an interesting show. And there's a lot of kind of documentaries on YouTube about Lizzie Borden, and if you're into paranormal stuff, there is quite a few different shows that have had experiences in the Lizzie Borden house, so you can check that out on YouTube if you're interested. But I'm only up to like the 2nd chapter, but I think it's going to be a really good read. So yeah, I picked this one up at Kmart. Kmart is a great place to find books. They're fairly cheap, and yeah, I'm interested to get further along in this. So, and this is also, as I said, on Audible if you like audiobooks. So that is all for kind of books and knitting. If you guys are not interested in the health stuff, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Those of you who are interested, it's kind of been the reason that it's taken me a while to film this latest video. About 5 weeks ago now, I went back to the doctors and went back on some medication for my depression. I've suffered off and on with this most of my adult life. Mine is brought on by things that are going on around me, and when it gets really stressful and things happen, it brings it out. So I decided to try a different medication. Probably not the best idea. My sleeping pattern was all over the place. I was constantly tired. I suffered 2 migraines in the space of 3 weeks, and I haven't had one in well over a year. I ended up stopping that medication, and between me stopping that medication and being able to get back to the doctor to go on a new one, well, the old one that I'd been on previously in past years, I had adverse reactions to stopping the new antidepressant that I'd tried. So I was like dizzy, I was nauseous, ended up in bed quite a few days, and it just wasn't good. So I ended up going to the doctors and going back on the medication that I'd first been prescribed, you know, in past episodes. Didn't really want to go into that, but the side effects that I was having, I didn't want to deal with that. So I've been back on that now for almost 2 weeks, I think, and I'm starting to feel better. I'm still not sleeping that well, but it takes a while for the medication to kind of adjust in your system. So yeah. But I'm feeling better, and it's funny because as soon as I started taking the new one, the dizziness and nausea went away. So yeah. But so that's kind of where I've been at, and why I haven't kind of been filming. I also, this current episode also sparked my first tattoo. So I went, actually a week ago today. It's a bit bigger than I'd intended it to be, but I'm still really happy with it. It's at the point now where it probably won't look like it when I show you it, but it's starting to flake and kind of peel, and you can start to kind of see the proper colour that it's going to be. So yeah, I've officially got my first tattoo. So I will show you, some of you may have already seen it on Instagram. So yeah, I have plans for a few more, not for a little bit, but yeah, I'm really happy with it. It is starting to flake and peel, and I can see there's a couple of spots where the actual black has come off, and I can see like the kind of grey colour underneath that it's going to be. It didn't really hurt, honestly. I have a fairly high pain threshold anyway, and I mean, I had a ton of blood work done and an ultrasound on my neck because my glands were quite swollen. All those tests come back clear, but I ended up with bruises on my arms. My veins don't like to cooperate, so and that's part of the reason why it's on this arm as well, because I had a massive bruise on this arm where I was going to get it. Okay. So yeah, I'm really happy with it, and we'll definitely be going back to get some more. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this episode. I just want to say thank you to those of you who commented. I put up a post on Instagram about depression and stuff a few weeks back, and I just wanted to say thank you to those of you who reached out and shared a little bit of your story with me. It's not an easy subject to talk about, but I think it needs to be talked about more than it does, and you know, there's no shame in having mental illness. There's a lot of people that do suffer with it, and you know, it's definitely something that you shouldn't be ashamed of. So thank you for reaching out and checking in, and I really appreciate your support. So thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully it won't be too long before I post another video, and fingers crossed, might be towards the end of this week, start of next week. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.